How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to part 14 of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. This is Terra's finale. We are not done with the game, but we are concluding Terra's story in this playthrough. Now, like I said in the last part, the Keyblade Graveyard doesn't have... It's not a huge world. There's literally only 3 sections of things that you can explore before you enter that final room and enter the boss. Now, we're in the second area right now, and what I did ahead of time, I'm actually switched to my higher profile character. I haven't, this isn't like level 99 or anything, I'm only on like level 30 something, because it takes a long while to gain experience in Birth by Sleep, and it's something that I never really did in the future. But this is actually my good name. As you can probably tell, I've got, my health is at the max that I can get it so far. And in this section, the second portion for, the Keyblade Graveyard is you're in this wide area and you have these unversed tornadoes spinning around the area. Now, I already went in ahead of time and cleared most of them, and I left 2 open so I can just show you guys what they look like and what happens when you get inside one. I didn't want to show all of it off because sometimes those battles can be a little bit... They can either be the same or they can just last a little bit longer, and I didn't want to do that. So what I did was I just went ahead and took care of most of the tornadoes and then just left a few of them to show you guys. So I only left 2. So after I destroy all of these unversed, then we're going to move on to the third area, and then we're going to move on to the final bosses for Terra's story. And like I also said in the previous version, I'm sticking with the Ends of the Earth Keyblade because it's personally my favorite for Terra, and I really do love that design. And I was very surprised, too, that I was actually able to keep the ending of his story under 30 minutes. Because I was like, either way, I didn't care how long the finales were for each characters. But, you know, I want to try and make sure it's good content. And I will be talking through, like, some of Terra's credits so I can kind of go over, like, what are the things I like about Terra. And kind of leading into some stuff that will be going on for the rest of Birth by Sleep. But yeah, this is the last area that you can just kind of freely walk around, because once you enter the light, you are now in the point of no return. You will have to face all the final bosses, and it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but that's just what you got to do. And this also won't be the last time we see these couple of cutscenes, because every character experiences these final battle cutscenes where it starts off with Terra, Aqua comes in, and Ventus will follow shortly after. I will say, for what the... When I look over at how the Keyblade Graveyard is represented throughout this series, you know, despite how bare bones it really is, it definitely has this presence. Like, shit went down here, and it was a horrible thing that happened, and just like the added, even though it's kind of the same couple designs with like the Keyblades, you still get it like this is a tragedy. But I was tricked. And I don't know, I think just from what it shows, like you still get that essence of like a final world in a way. But I think with how Kingdom Hearts 3 obviously does it better, just because they're able to show off a little bit more, and you know the Keyblades look, you know, they look more polished in design. But I do remember playing this as a kid, just being younger, as I was 10 years old. No, I wasn't 10 years old. I was not 10 years. I was 15 when this game came out, and it still has that feeling of, you know, bad stuff happened. It is a little bit spooky. But that's kind of one of the things that I like about what the series does with the Keyblade Graveyard, is that it is this haunting place where this great war happened The only thing that I think kind of sucks with the Keyblade War is that when you hear about all the stuff that happened, and especially when you watch the movie that takes place before Birth by Sleep, back cover, you know, we don't really see the Keyblade War in like what you would expect like from like an action movie. And I know that Kingdom Hearts Union Cross shows like cutscenes of like the little characters going and battling, but that's just it's not what I would had envisioned it. And I'm kind of hoping that maybe when we enter these next new Kingdom Hearts games, we're able to see a really just, and I know that, you know, because it is Disney, you know, we can't do too much here, but I am hoping that we kind of see just the brutality of what this war actually did and just how it shaped all these events to come. And I think with what Birth by Sleep does in this following cutscene that we're going to be watching, like, you know, they're fighting in like a brutal battlefield. And even in Kingdom Hearts 3, they do the same thing. Like there are a lot of brutal fights in this, and that's something that I wish they kind of showed with, you know, the very first Keyblade War, because technically in Kingdom Hearts 3, you're kind of going into a second Keyblade War. But still, that's just kind of on my wish list of something that I would like to see in the future. I would love to see a full-fledged couple of cutscenes that showcase, you know, the very first Keyblade War. But I know that with Disney and whatnot, we may not be able to see something really intense, but I'm hoping that we could at least see something. So since I was kind of talking over the cutscene, I have to explain something a little bit. So Terra explained to Aqua that it was Master Xehanort who really struck down Ericus, but he accidentally played a part in doing so. And apparently Ventus holds the power to create this all-powerful Keyblade. They call it the Keyblade, but I just call it the X-Blade just because the symbol is an X. So if you're a Kingdom Hearts enthusiast watching me and it is pronounced like the Keyblade, you know, you can just leave your comments down below, but I'm just going to call it the X-Blade. So Ventus and Vanitas, if they clash together, they have the power to create the X-Blade, which is this all-powerful Keyblade that can open the door to Kingdom Hearts, and basically one can achieve ultimate power. And that's really what Master Xehanort is after. He wants to know what happened in the Keyblade War, and the X-Blade can be that tool that can give him the answers that he so seeks. So that's part of his first plan, where it's ultimately to get Vanitas and Ventus to fight, to forge the blade, and basically take out Aqua, because Aqua, you know, he doesn't really do anything much with Aqua in this story, but she is in the way, and she kind of says later on in the cutscenes that Aqua needs to be taken out. And I'm not going to specify what he plans on doing with Terra just yet until we actually get to that point. But as far as we know, he's trying to get this ultimate Keyblade called the X-Blade. That's just how I say it. Now, if you played Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix and you beat it on Proud Mode, you probably got this entire cinematic in like a much better 3D rendered movie. But I kind of like how for Birth by Sleep, we get to see like an in-game version of it. But the actual like fully CG movie of it, oh, it was beautiful. I remember looking it up on the internet when people beat Proud Mode on Kingdom Hearts, and oh, it was just it was amazing, and I couldn't wait to see what happens. And Birth by Sleep was that answer. So now Master Xehanort has summoned Kingdom Hearts. New challenger approaching. Alright. We gotta go back to focusing on Terra, because this is his story. Now for Terra, you essentially have 3 bosses here. 3 boss fights. For the life of me, I can't remember how this first fight goes, but in the first fight, you're specifically taking on Vanitas, and you have to defeat Vanitas. But Master Xehanort also accompanies Vanitas. If you take down a good majority of Master Xehanort's health, I believe, then you automatically move on to the next fight. But if not, if you can't get him within a good chunk of time to get his health down, then you have to just go out and destroy Vanitas. And that's what I do for this fight. For this fight, I'm primarily just eliminating all of Vanitas' health.
My friend, Ven. You tell me, Xehanort. What did you do to him?
Why, I did him a favor and freed the darkness inside him. Alas, you adventurers never have the fortitude for such strenuous trials.
Xehanort!
He's pissed. So your main goal is to really take down Vanitas, but like I said, I think if you take down a good chunk of Master Xehanort's health, then you automatically move on to the next fight, but I don't do that. And for this fight, Vanitas is going to kind of be at a full power mode, so you do need to watch it. But he's definitely his most strongest when you eventually will fight him in the other characters' stories. And the one thing that I don't like about Vanitas, and I think I brought this up plenty of other times, is that his model teleports so much in this battle that, you know, I'm hitting him, but then I don't get the hits. And that definitely, it pisses me off. And in later games, they fix that, but that's one of the things that I did not like about 3 is that enemies teleport too much, and I did not like that one bit.
Go take what Ventus owed you, and take Aqua's life. You see how powerless you are to save them. Savor that rage and despair. Let it empower you.
You will pay, Xehanort. Was my master? No. My father, Eric, is not enough for you? Leave my friends alone!
And now, unfortunately, Terra is succumbing to the darkness inside him, which will come into play very soon. Alright, now we're on to the second part of Terra's final bosses. We just have to fight Xehanort. And again, I hate it when characters teleport. I really do. I think that's like the biggest thing I have with like some of these bosses later in the series is that they teleport so damn much and you can barely get good amounts of hits on them. And they move back so quickly that it's like really impossible to try and get hits on. Like I think I'm going to hit them, but then I don't. And I hate that. That's probably my biggest gripe with like the series in terms of like combat. It's the fact that these characters, the game developers make the bosses like teleport so much that it's like really impossible to really get some hits on them.
You're done!
All right. We took down Xehanort, and you would think that that would be the end of it, but nope. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we still have one more fight left. And now we find out what Master Xehanort has in store for Terra. Now remember, Terra just succumbed to the darkness. He just unleashed all the darkness that he had.
Oh, there, you see? The Keyblade has been forged.
Ben!
Ventus and Vanitas have formed the ultimate Keyblade.
The final union.
And time for Xehanort's other plan.
At last, our moment is here.
Now, Xehanort's kind of talking about how he swears that he was going to see what the secrets of the Keyblade War happened, like how, like what exactly happened, and he wants to see what happens beyond the Keyblade War. So basically, Xehanort just stabbed himself, releasing his heart, and since Terra succumbed to the darkness, and Xehanort uses that same type of darkness power, he is going to make his heart join with Terra's, and essentially, right now, possess Terra's body. Because since Terra gave in to the darkness and his heart is steeped in darkness for this moment, and Master Xehanort uses that same type of darkness, Xehanort now has the power to control Terra. So now his heart has joined with Terra's, and Xehanort now has full control over Terra's body. As you'll see right there.
This heart belongs again to darkness.
And this won't be the last time we hear that phrase.
And also
But yes, Terra's heart is now lost in shadow, and Xehanort's got control.
sprouts within it. It grows, consumes it. Such is its nature. In the end, every heart returns to the darkness whence it came.
But his body may have submitted and his heart succumbed to the darkness. But his will is just too damn strong.
Your body submits, your heart succumbs. So why does your mind resist?
And now, Xehanort, I am now about to go Lingering Will on your ass. Final boss, ladies and gentlemen, Lingering Will versus Terranort. Forewarning, I beat the living hell out of this guy. Here we go, final boss. And that is the end of Terranort. But unfortunately, due to circumstances, Terra does not regain control of his body. But after completing that fight, he gets a nice cape. And that was actually not included in the PSP version. In the PSP version, he does not get a cape. But once they remastered it for the PS3, they extended that cutscene to give him a cape. Because if you guys remember from Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, if you ever played that, the secret boss fight is Terra's Lingering Will, but his armor has a cape. And then they realized after they did the PSP version that, oh, we forgot to do that, because now, see, here's the thing, Terra's Lingering Will is now, he can't go anywhere. He is now trapped in the Keyblade Graveyard, or you can call it Badlands, whatever you want to call it, until, for some reason, he can regain his body. But until then, Terra isn't going to be going anywhere for a very, very long time. Which is sad, but hey, all places lead somewhere. But for right now, for Terra, that's it. And Xehanort just got sucked up into that explosion. So Xehanort has now left the Keyblade Graveyard. We'll find out where he is way later in this playthrough. But now, Kingdom Hearts is closed, and we are officially wrapping up Terra's story.
Aqua. Then, one day, I will set this right.
And that is the end of Terra's story, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll reiterate this one more time. We are not done with the game. We've got 2 more characters left to play, but after you complete every single character story, you get a little credit scene where several characters that they've interacted with over the course of the adventure will show up on the credits, and then that'll be the end of it. Now, I guess I'll take this time right now to kind of reflect back on because I haven't played Birth by Sleep in a long while, but I'll kind of take this time to kind of think back about each of the characters I play. I remember when I first played Birth by Sleep, because I was, my favorite characters are Sora and Roxas, and how Ventus looked like Roxas. I ended up playing as Ventus for my first playthrough because he looked like Roxas, but he's not Roxas. But one thing I definitely liked about Terra is that I like how he is just this brute force of strength, and that made eliminating enemies a lot quicker, but also just because of like the whole mystery behind Terra. Because if you played Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix and you've battled the Lingering Will, there was a lot of mystery surrounding that particular Lingering Will, and to find out that it is Terra and to see where his story goes, it was very interesting to learn about. And especially when you get, the Ends of the Earth Keyblade, it just adds to that, like, okay, this is it. Now we are at the point where we've completed his story, and now this little secret of his will come back in Kingdom Hearts 2. But overall, just kind of going back to Birth by Sleep and starting with Terra, it's definitely it's a great breath of fresh air because now I'm playing a Kingdom Hearts game that I enjoy playing, that doesn't use the card system anymore. We never have to look at that ever again. And I still, to this day, love playing Birth by Sleep when I do, especially, like I said, when I'm going back and doing all the marathons, completing all the games leading up to 3. It's still a fun experience to do. And even though I don't have my PSP anymore, because I now play Birth by Sleep on PlayStation 3, I still had a lot of great times playing that on my PlayStation Portable. And I still get great enjoyment out of playing it on the PS4 because it looks way better. It looks great in 60 frames per second, and I still love it to death. But yeah, it was fun revisiting Terra's story. I'm looking forward to going back to playing as Ventus, because that is the next character we are playing as, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to continue going right down the list. So the next character that we will be playing as in this playthrough will be Ventus himself, and we will be concluding with Aqua, just because in terms of story, I think that's the best way to go. And yeah. So when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going all the way back to the beginning of the game, but now we're going to be seeing things from Ventus's point of view. So thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed Terra's story. If you never played Birth by Sleep before, I hope that with completing Terra's story, you guys kind of got to see what his character brings to the table, and I'm hoping that you guys look forward to my Ventus playthrough, which is next. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in part 15, where we start a whole new adventure. Have a good one, guys, and I will see you next time.
Thank you.